Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Music News at Noon from New York City on the Music Industry City Broadcast Network, where we look at breaking industry news, today's headlines, and what's going on in music technology. We're going to be starting our program in just a few moments. Don't forget, you can ask your friends to join the conversation. And if you'd like to share your thoughts on any of today's topics, please request to come to the stage and join our discussion. We are also on the live video stream, so you can not only listen to us, but you can also view us in real time if you'd like. You can follow along with all the headlines in today's news from our website, musicindustrycity.com. And thank you so much for joining us today. We have lots of exciting content on our website. You can also follow along with headlines anytime. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to begin our show and our countdown here in just a few moments. Make sure that you follow our hosts and moderators. These are the folks on stage with the green moderator icon. Tap on their images to follow, or if you're on the live stream, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You can also register for free at musicindustrycity.com. Let's begin our countdown to today's headlines.
From New York, it's the Music News at Noon on the Music Industry City Broadcast Network. I'm Peter Schwing, and please join me in welcoming my co-host Eli Window and UK correspondent Angela Randall.
Hello, Peter. Hello, everyone. And hello, Angela. It's great to see you.
Hello. Happy Monday.
All right, in today's news, SoundCloud is now part of the Billboard charts. Tencent has to roll back exclusive deals. LiveNation is selling $20 tickets. Spotify singing GIFs. We're going to talk about that one. And the music industry in 10 years. This one's going to be a thought piece. We're going to open that up at the end, so stick around for that. We're going to be welcoming people up on stage. You can join in that conversation. And as always, our daily Spotify update. Those stories are coming up. But first, let's take a look at this day in music history with Eli Window. Eli.
All right, let's take a look at this day in history. First, we begin in memory. On this date in July 26, 1990, we lost American keyboardist and vocalist Brent Midland from the Grateful Dead, who was found dead on the floor of his home, aged 38, from a drug overdose. His 11-year tenure was longer than that of any other keyboard in the band, in memory. On this date, July 26, 1992, we lost American singer and Motown artist Mary Wells, often referred to as the First Lady of Motown. She had a 1964 U.S. #1 and UK #5 single, My Guy. She died aged 49 of laryngeal cancer. On this date, 2013, we lost U.S. singer-songwriter J.J. Cale, who died of a heart attack at the age of 74. He became famous in 1970 when Eric Clapton covered his song After Midnight. In 1977, Clapton also popularized Cale's Cocaine. The two worked together on an album, which won a Grammy Award in 2008. And on this date, 2020, just last year, we lost English blues rock singer-songwriter and guitarist and also founder of Fleetwood Mac, Peter Green, who died in his sleep, age 73, in memory. Moving on, birthdays today. Born on this date, superstar rock icon Mick Jagger, born July 26, 1943. Jagger's singer-songwriter and headlining performer with the Rolling Stones. Born this date, 1949, Roger Taylor, drums, vocals for Queen. Also born this date in 1961, Gary Cherone, who was singer with Extreme. Born this date, 1980, Dave, quote-unquote, Dan Brown Sound, Bash, and he was a guitarist with Sum 41. And happy birthday from this date, 1993, to Taylor Momsen, American singer-songwriter with The Pretty Reckless. Moving on to this day in music history. On July 26, 1968, the Jackson 5 signed a one-year contract with Motown Records. They made history in 1970 as the first recording act to have their first four singles reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. The songs being I Want You Back, ABC, The Love You Save, and I'll Be There. On this date in the year 2000, the band Oasis were booed off stage during a show at the Paleo Festival in Switzerland after singer Liam Gallagher had insulted the 35,000-member strong audience. And on this date, July 26, 2009, AC/DC singer Brian Johnson appeared as a star in the reasonably priced car on the BBC television program Top Gear. His time of 1:45.9 tied him with Simon Cowell for the second fastest time. He was introduced by host Jeremy Clarkson as, quote, a man who has sold more albums than the Beatles, and I bet almost none of the audience have ever even heard of him, end quote. And that's it for On This Day in Music History. Back over to my co-host, Peter Schwing. Peter?
Right on, Eli. I mean, go figure. A Gallagher insulting an audience or being controversial. Go figure. Would never guess that. Eli, by the way, I think you're going to have to re-log into your video stream here. Everybody's looking at a picture of a microphone. There you are. Hey, everybody. Welcome back, Eli, to the
Much
video
better.
stream. Yes, much better. So thank you. And so hello, everybody that is in our live stream. And if you want to check out the live stream, you can go to musicindustrycity.com and you'll see the live stream is there. So to move along, to set the stage for the roundtable conversation, we bring you summaries and commentary on the latest headlines. If you'd like to offer your thoughts on one of today's topics, request to join the stage during the roundtable segment. I'd also like to thank everyone again who is viewing on the live stream. To give you a wave there and joining in the members-only newsroom live discussion thread on musicindustrycity.com. To stay up to date on this and other programming, make sure to sign up for free at musicindustrycity.com to obtain access to exclusive content. And now let's get to it. Right, and this first piece is from Variety.com. To access all the articles that we cover in today's headline reads, you can go to musicindustrycity.com and click on where it says Music News at Noon. So what we do is every morning around 10 a.m. Eastern, we post the blog. We make a blog post with all the headlines that we were going to cover in that day's show. So you get a sneak preview, and you can look at them. You can read along at home or at the office. And if you want to offer up some commentary later in the show, you already know what we're talking about. So this one is Tencent Music ordered to unwind exclusive content deals with global labels. Tencent Music Entertainment has been punished and compelled to terminate its exclusive content supply deals with major worldwide suppliers by Chinese regulators. The company is China's largest online music group and a majority-owned part of the Tencent Group. Tencent Music was given 30 days to cancel its exclusive relationships with key international music sources, and the firm was fined the equivalent of $77,100. The regulators also stated that Tencent Music cannot demand large upfront fees from competitors to whom it sublicenses content. It may, however, continue to sign exclusive partnerships with smaller independent labels. Tencent Music has been edging away from competitors with exclusive digital distribution partnerships with the three majors Universal, Warner, and Sony for years. It would then sublicense the catalogs to competitors such as NetEase, frequently for double or triple the initial price. And just so know that Tencent Music and Tencent are both members of a consortium that owns a 20% stake in Universal Music Group. So something to pay attention to, what's going on. I mean, there's a lot. You're going to see a lot coming in from China, a lot of motion with going in. You know, we're seeing a lot of the labels going in deals, but everything that's happening over in China, I mean, it's going to be crazy to watch what happens over the next few months. Or from Digital Music News, this one is Billboard integrates SoundCloud and Seven Digital into mainline charts. This comes from a report that A2IM published a notice regarding the changes lately, stating that Billboard's industry and chart streaming activity will now include plays from Seven Digital and SoundCloud. In the same article, it also indicated that the music streaming and discovery platform Audiomack is part of the music chart expansion. However, Billboard stated that its charts would begin to factor in Audiomack streams later in 2021. Similarly, the same charts are set to reflect suitable plays on Seven Digital in the future, with SoundCloud streams playing a role in Billboard's global rankings. And these went into effect over the weekend. You know, it's really interesting. You know, as you talk about the changes that have gone across the board in the last decade of moving from physical product sales to digital downloads to streaming to equivalent albums, equivalent sales, all that. And how do we track? I mean, where's the TikTok? We're going to have the TikTok charts. We're going to have, I mean, going back to, if they did this with Vine and there was music with Vine, I mean, that's the modern day, what TikTok is today. I mean, all these charts combined in, it's like the magic of trying to compile these. I mean, is it something that we're just going to see the same type of music at the top at all times?
I imagine so, Peter, but I think that it's pretty incredible that in 20 years' time, we've gone from people denigrating streaming music and talking about how it may just be a fad to including independently released tracks that are only in a digital place and only in a specific website or specific app that are making such a contribution in especially the indie charts that they would actually factor into Billboard's sphere. It's quite astonishing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, SoundCloud has always been that independent. I mean, there's Bandcamp for downloads, and then for SoundCloud has always been more of that indie, outsider, rebellious. We're going to do something different, and check us out. And they have mixes, and then there's Mixcloud. But SoundCloud and what they're doing now also with their fan-centric payment is going to be really interesting. I mean, if we start, bringing in the fact that artists, more of that independent DIY artists can make money better or more money from a SoundCloud play than a Spotify play, and then they get the opportunity to be more included into Billboard, I think we're going to see some of the charts change a little bit. All right, we're going to talk about, this one is from Solana, and the Solana announced a creator fund. Why this was interesting, because I find that it's the education that is needed and required when you're dealing with crypto and NFTs is something I am all for. So this is the public blockchain announced that they are onboarding the next 1,000 creators and fans into crypto. So on July 23rd, Solana Foundation joined forces with Audius and the Metaplex Foundation to launch a $5 million fund to bring the next wave of creators and fans onto crypto networks. The Creator Fund is focusing on builders, musicians, and other artists who are experimenting with the ecosystem, projects like Audius, Metaplex, and other decentralized platforms built on top of Solana. The fund seeks to help creators pioneer new works in frontier categories like music streaming, NFTs, the metaverse, and create new fan experiences using permissionless software and spur innovation around creator-first business models. It will back visual artists, musicians, video producers, digital artists, performance artists, streamers, gamers, and other types of creators who are actively innovating and rewriting the rules of conventional wisdom for their field. In addition to capital, technical support will be provided to creators who need assistance utilizing crypto user interfaces, token models, and other monetization tools. So let's give you a little more about the companies involved. Audius is a P2P music streaming protocol that allows artists to build a fan base, publish tracks, and monetize their work without ever having to sign a record deal. Audius is now one of the most popular music platforms with nearly 5 million monthly active users. Metaplex enables artists and brands to build direct relationships with their audience by launching their own NFT storefronts. And in the words of Grammy Award winner RAC, Metaplex will do for NFTs what Shopify did for commerce, but it takes it one step further by not acting as the middleman. And you can apply for this creator fund on the website, and you can find this article at musicindustrycity.com. And if you click on the graphic that just says Music News at Noon for today's date. Anybody playing around with crypto and NFTs and all that, and want to jump up on the stage and offer any thoughts on this? I think this is great what they're doing, because it's not, I mean, there's a monetary fund, but it's also about helping them to understand the market and understand tokens. And this decentralized, creator economy, we're going to be hearing those words for years to come, probably for like another 2 to 3 years. That's going to be the buzzwords. And being able to have this type of, I call it the separate music economy. We have the traditional industry, and the traditional industry is not this old, outdated industry. That's not what we mean by traditional. It's, more of just, we have a record label deal, we have a publishing deal, that kind of format. I mean, they are going into new technologies. You see what Sony's doing, you see what the majors doing, you see what the independents are doing. So it's not like this is left behind in the dust. It's just that I like this for this alternative creator ecosystem. This is the alternative music economy, which has always been there in one way, shape, or form. And going back to Angela, what we mentioned earlier is about what SoundCloud is doing or what Bandcamp has done to help the DIY artists. And now it's getting included. So when does blockchain and NFTs, do NFTs ever make it to a Billboard chart at some point? It's the Billboard NFT chart.
That's the $1 million question.
Right on. All right, let's move over to LiveNation. And this is from Music Business Worldwide. LiveNation is selling $20 all-in concert tickets to help it bounce back from the pandemic. LiveNation announced a run of new $20 all-in ticket prices for outdoor amphitheater shows in the U.S. taking place this year. The $20 tickets will be available for nearly 1,000 shows under the Return to Live banner across more than 40 LiveNation amphitheaters in the U.S. For a limited time only, next week, fans will be able to buy $20 tickets for participating shows while supplies last. I can imagine these are going to go quickly. Artists who will be playing shows under the $20 ticket offer included the Jonas Brothers, Kings of Leon, Zac Brown Band, Maroon 5, Alanis Morissette, Kiss and Korn, and many more. And to also note, T-Mobile and Sprint customers can score exclusive 24-hour early access to the $20 all-in tickets through T-Mobile Tuesdays starting tomorrow, the 27th, starting Tuesday, the 27th at 12 p.m. Eastern. So I'm going to do some alliteration there. This is really, this is good. It's helped people. So get in there early. I'm sure these tickets are going to sell out really quick. There's a full list on the website at Music Business Worldwide. In this article, you can see the full list of participating artists. With that being said, let's check in with Eli.
All right, let's check in with me, and we'd like to ask you to go ahead and check in with your friends as well. So make sure that you invite your friends to our show, and your friends can participate in the conversation just like you can by requesting to come to the stage or by chiming in the chat if you're watching us on the video live stream. If you're listening and you'd like to watch us on the live stream, make sure you go to our website where you can tune in and access all of our other content and articles, including our weekday Daily Brief podcasts. This is where we keep you up to date on items that you may not be hearing covered here necessarily at the Music News at Noon, such as new releases, tours, musical chairs, tech news, and heads up, this is all in less than 3 minutes, so come get charged up. And while you're there, make sure to register for free and follow along with today's headlines and watch our live stream. Again, our website address is musicindustrycity.com. We want to thank you so much for tuning into our broadcast Monday through Thursday, right here, noon Eastern, for the Music News at Noon from New York City. Let's go on with today's headlines. We see UK government opens consultation on the future of national digital radio multiplexes. With more on this headline, we go to our UK correspondent, Angela Randall. Angela?
Thanks, Eli. In the UK, there are currently 2 national digital radio networks, or DAB multiplexes if you prefer, one run by Digital One Limited and the other by Sound Digital Limited, both of which operate under government licenses. However, the license now held by Digital One is set to expire in November of 2023, which implies that under existing rules, media regulator Ofcom should be preparing to put that license up for sale. However, the government's Department of Digital, Culture, Media, and Sport stated last week that there have been calls by some commercial operators for the government to consider allowing Ofcom automatically to renew the national multiplex licenses, as this would provide the sector with certainty and support. The current plan is to change the law so that Digital One's license automatically renews, giving the corporation another 12 years to run the multiplex. Alternatively, have Ofcom re-advertise the license in accordance with current regulations. Or there's a possible middle ground in which both Digital One and Sound Digital's present licenses are extended through to 2030, so that both come up for renewal at the same time as all of the licenses covering local DAB multiplexes across the UK. As this develops, we'll certainly keep you in the loop. And at the moment, I know plenty of people in the radio space who are doing a lot of reorganizing, and some of it, I believe, is down to the changes that will be coming in existence once Digital One's license is set to expire, because obviously there may be new owners or a new franchisee, I should say, as that time approaches. So yeah, definitely a bit of a shakeup in the digital radio space here in the UK. And of course, we'll keep you up to date on that as that news emerges. But for now, back to you.
All right, thank you for that. And there's a lot of been, looking at consolidation, and I don't know what it's like there. I know that here, there have been times, and you hear these stories about radio stations changing format in the blink of an eye. I mean, there's one great story where a woman was reading the news or something, or the weather, and when they cut and they changed the format of the radio station in mid-program, like she was off the air, and next thing you know is like a different radio. So is it different over there in that sense of consolidation and changing over, or is there more regulations when it comes to something like these multiplexes?
It's not like the way terrestrial radio is sort of broken out in the US, because obviously we do have the BBC broadcasting radio stations, which are sort of operated by the government, owned by the government, and are funded by the people, by individual people. I think the difference is that there are sort of, if you can imagine, it's kind of like syndicate owners. So, for example, I know that the DAB stations carried by Digital One are there's a soft rock station that's quite well known. There's a classic FM station and another group of stations that cover across the decades, known as Absolute Radio. That one's pretty popular. And then there's Capital, Capital and Heart, which are not off the same level as sort of your I guess your K Rock or your gosh, I can't remember all of them now, but it kind of covers a blanket syndicated top 40 or classic rock or whatever their formats are. Thankfully, you're not going to turn up one day and the radio station is going to change format that quickly, because with digital radio, we have the option of just adding another station or moving another station. So we end up having, plenty of digital access points, unlike the FM dial. Whereas that gives you a little bit more leeway, and you can do that. They sort of phase them in and out rather than sort of shutting them off one day and turning it into something else the next day. But I think the issue that's coming up around this is that what they want is to make sure that there aren't too many stations going that are too similar to one another, because then, of course, you're segmenting the audience, and you could potentially segment it too wide, so that you're not really providing as much value for the cost that they're putting out. But the bigger groups like Bauer Media and Capital's Lead are all, and Global, I should say, have always been in place. So hopefully there won't be too much of a change. It's just a matter of getting all their paperwork together, really.
Okay, right on. Thanks for that. All right, let's move over to some tech news. I need to come up with a little soundbite for tech news. Just like somebody yelling "tech news." Anybody want to do one? Eli's in the video right now. She's like, me. Well, when you hear the Spotify spot, that was Eli's doing as well. So later on, stick around for Eli's musical masterpiece. All right, this is from 9 to 5 Mac. Sleeve brings an Apple Music or Spotify Now Playing widget to your Mac's desktop. And we talked about this a few weeks ago. There have been people that have creating these little standalone apps that have brought back the iPod and also the old Mac, old iTunes listening widget and these new designs. But now you can also have an Apple Music or Spotify widget. So Sleeve is basically a simple desktop software that displays album artwork of what's playing now, what song is playing, and playback settings. Depending on the streaming service you use, it works nicely with Apple Music or Spotify. And while the app is simple, it does provide a variety of customization choices based on your tastes. The software allows you to change the size, rounded corners of the artwork, dark, light mode, text size, alignment, and position of the artwork, which will be important if you move the dock around. And it is a native Swift program that does not require account verification and works well with multiple monitors. It costs $5 $5, and it has no ads or other in-app purchases. I love any app that says no ads or other in-app purchases. That makes me happy. So if you want to play around, check it out and add something to your desktop. So let's talk more about Apple, and this one is over from The Verge. Apple Music spatial audio and lossless streaming are now available on Android. Apple Music subscribers on Android can now enjoy Dolby Atmos spatial audio and lossless quality streaming, which debuted on iOS, iPad, and Mac OS over a month ago. The most recent update to the Android app includes support for both functions. Lossless audio should be widely available on Android smartphones, and Apple Music, like Apple's other platforms, warns that extra hardware such as a DAC, is required if you wish to upgrade to high-res lossless. However, spatial audio compatibility or capability for Android appears to be more limited. Although the functionality works with any headphones, just like it does on the iPhone, Apple notes that your phone must support Dolby Atmos in order to enable spatial audio. So check that out, or maybe it's time to get that new phone for that upgrade. All right, let's go over to our favorite time of day. It is
Big green dot hits the spot. The big green dot, it does hit the spot. It is time for our Spotify spot, where we take a look at the latest updates from streaming services around the globe. But before we do that, we do want to check in with your weather. Strange celestial sights in today's weather. Many listeners report tangerine trees and marmalade skies. Now let's check in with my co-host Peter Schwing for today's Spotify spot. Peter?
right on. I was just thinking Tangerine Dream. All right, this one is from PC Mag. Spotify, Giphy, or Jiffy, however you want to pronounce it, partner to make GIFs sing. So Spotify and Giphy have teamed up to literally make GIFs sing. When you click a verified artist GIF, you'll be connected to their Spotify website for a music streaming session. Doja Cat, The Weeknd, Post Malone, and Nicki Minaj are among the inaugural performers, with more names to be announced. To access their music library, either touch on the participating GIF or click the Listen To on Spotify link. People all over the world can access the functionality by visiting Giphy.com or the platform's mobile apps and look for the blue check mark artist Giphy pages. If you search on a computer, you will be requested to launch the Spotify desktop app if you have it installed. And the goal of the collaboration is to link people with artists via social media, text, or wherever you exchange GIFs. And it's similar to Spotify's earlier collaborations with Snapchat and Instagram in that users can broadcast music via stories and posts. This will be really interesting and fun. I look forward to this. You know something I totally forgot when I was looking into this article more. I totally forgot that Facebook bought Giphy a few years ago. So many things I don't remember that these companies buying. So with that being said, that's it for the reads. But we have a special after Spotify. We usually wrap after the Spotify. We open up the roundtable. So that's what we're going to do right now. If you want to join in any of the conversation, if you have some thoughts, opinions on any of today's topics, feel free to request to join the stage. If you are on our live stream, you can go ahead and throw a comment into the chat. We'd love to hear from you. And with that being said, I'm going to give a special, let's talk about what is the future of the music industry. This is 10 predictions for the next 10 years. And if anybody wants to come in, I'm going to, Eli, Angela, I didn't prep you for this one. I'm just going to throw questions at you as well while I'm reading this. It's an interesting article. It's from Amplify, and it comes from, the author is, what is her name here? It is from Janelle Borg. And, she comes up some really, some interesting thought pieces. So I wanted to tap into this one. And it starts off, what is the future of music industry? 10 predictions for the next 10 years. So ever wonder what the music industry is going to look like post-pandemic? And it's based on the BPI's 10 by 10 Trends for Music's Next Decade event, where they discussed what they believe the future holds for the music industry. So she breaks this down. And I'd like to break this down into digestible, bite-sized nuggets here, and I'll read the headline here, and then I'll read a little bit of the segment, and if anything, thoughts that you have, Eli, Angela, or if anybody else wants to join the conversation, feel free to request to join the stage. This one, I kind of alluded to it earlier, and this one says, consumers are creators. It says, music fans are not just consumers, but active creators. Creator tools are bound to become even more accessible in the next couple of years. In addition to social media content creation, fans will be able to create content in the metaverse. The next stage of user-generated content will continue breaking the fourth wall between the artist and the fan, and experts predict that artists and labels will start providing music stems and visual assets to fans so they can manipulate them and create their own content. And think of it as an elevated version of TikTok's Duet. So I look at this, and it's really interesting when you talk about this UGC. And giving people stems. This has been something that's been done in the past, but it's never been as easily accessible with the technology. I believe it was David Byrne did it, where you could remix his songs or Talking Head songs. And this goes back to, I mean, even in the late 90s, there was these things that were happening on the net, as we called it back then, and even in the 2000s. And what's, interesting is the fact of like, all right, so if you can if an artist says, I will give you the stems, here's the tool, maybe here's the platform that has the stems, here's the tool, you can remix it, you can make a video, and you can make an NFT, all in by pressing a button, and the artist allows the fan to go and put it out there, and the fan could make money by creating the NFT. So think of it as maybe a Creative Commons in a sense, like what type of licensing are you allowing? So maybe it's some throwaway. So if an artist says, here's the songs that didn't make it onto my album, this might be a really good marketplace of saying, here's the stuff that didn't make it onto my album. It's cleared. I'm giving it to you. Fans, go have fun with it. It is totally whitelisted. Go at it. Maybe you can buy it, you can license it or something like that. So the artist can make a little license off the stem, and then they can do whatever they want with it. If the fan wants to create it, it's like fan art.
I wanted to chime in here, Peter, because I was part of a project in late 2009, early 2010, where Trent Reznor released the live concert footage from his 2008 Lights in the Sky tour. And the fans came together and co-opted the live concert footage that they provided, which was known at the time as the gift, and all of their independent footage that they'd recorded from various appearances, and put it all together and actually created a live concert video with I think it was like 200 different cameras, 200 different angles of different performances all throughout, and then released it as a fan released by fans for fans digital film, professional digital film. We had screenings. We did, it was strictly a non-for-profit and shared for free sort of project. But the fact that it existed, over 10, now 11, 12 years ago, it was just sort of the beginning of that, like you were saying before. It had been done before on smaller scales, but that sort of thing can easily, bring a community together. And I must have met, easily 100, 150 people from all over the world from just working on those projects. And if they had made it a situation where we could make profit off of it, I mean, it's been viewed, many, many times. You can still find it on YouTube now. But if you can imagine communities sort of rallying around, artists the way that we did for our favorite artist, who knows what kind of amazing things could come about. And like you say, if they make it so that it's okay for them to be able to make money off of it, I mean, you could see a whole new set of skills being implemented to transform, the music that we.
Yeah, I mean, even like going back to, Meg Myers did it last year, and it's not the first time it's been done, but with the accessibility of technology, she created a music video that was all based on students. It was like people submitting artwork and submitting videos and things like that. And again, it's not the first time, but with all this technology being in the palm of your hand, the fact that I can create a video and an audio I can create a song, an audio, I can have an AI write copy, I can have an AI write lyrics, I can get graphics, I can go to Canva, I can do all this, and in my hand, I can create something and recreate something and make it derivative and post it and publish it out there. It's so easily accessible. I think I think, this is why they say it's a creator economy and the collaborative economy. So those are the two things that we're going to be seeing is, the creator economy and the collaborative economy as well. I see Elliot has joined the stage. What's the good word, Elliot?
It's not exactly the same thing with as an artist releasing stems, but does anybody remember the Beastie Boys did that? It was called Awesome. I fucking shot that. They did a concert at Madison Square Garden. They handed out 50 camcorders to the audience with the hope that they would return them all, and made a DVD out of what was shot during the entire show from 50 different points of view.
I remember that as well. They got 42 of them back in pristine condition, and the others they got back, but they had been, dropped or things had malfunctioned or whatever. So they did get all of them back, but
yeah, I think there was
42.
some sort of deposit you had to leave, etc. Leave your driver's license, and like you said, I think there was only one camera that they didn't get back at all.
Yep.
This is the live concert equivalent of putting out the cardboard disposable cameras on the table at your wedding reception. We want to see things from your point of view, and I think that it's wonderful that people who are enjoying the content also get the opportunity to participate in creating the content, even remixing the content and making it their own, but also offering it back as a creative offering back to the artist. I love your work so much that I was working with it as well. So I think this is very interesting, and I appreciate Elliot's comments. Thank you so much. I wonder if anyone else has any comments for us on this or any of the other headlines that we have taken a look at today. If you'd like to offer your thoughts, you can join the stage. You can request to join the conversation. Just go ahead and raise your hand, or you can check out our website, musicindustry.com, to review any of the headlines that we looked at today. Any final thoughts for us from the room?
I still have 9 more sections.
Oh, goodness. I'm so excited. Good. Because I was looking at it like, man, that's kind of a short article. Let's hear some more. Thanks so much, Elliot, for your thoughts on this segment. But Peter has reminded me that we have 9 more awesome segments to go. Peter, let's go to the next segment, please. And thank you.
Well, some of them I'll go through quickly, too. So this one talks about the rise of creator-level subscriptions. So in 2020 alone, the combined number of U.S. subscribers for the major streaming services increased by more than 50%. U.S. consumers are expected to pay more than $41 billion for streaming services by 2024. What's next is creator-level subscriptions that build on what services such as Patreon and OnlyFans are already doing. Artists are set to continue building their subscription communities, monetizing their following, and benefiting from alternative forms of revenue streams. And one of the things I focus on here is when something like Instagram or one of those platforms adds another service to it. So, for instance, Instagram, you can sell merch. And, we want to make sure that the music industry and musicians are aware of all these different platforms and opportunities. And we're looking at it for, especially on independent or DIY, it's micro economy. It is not about, if you're focused on saying, hey, Spotify's not paying me enough, you're not focusing on your career. You're focusing on one minor aspect, and micro payments, micro revenue is what we're looking at, and especially in this collaborative economy. Now, you can go for, if you want to double down and become a Twitch streamer, or you want to double down on OnlyFans or Patreon, then you can make that your majority source of revenue, and then Spotify becomes this ancillary revenue or just like additional smaller streams to fill it in. So we look at Patreon and OnlyFans, things like that. OnlyFans is not just what OnlyFans was originally anymore. It's now entertainment. It's now music. They're tapping into other industries and sectors. So what we're looking at is these kind of things, and going back is saying like the creator economy, like where are these other things that we talking about, the NFTs and that platform with Solana, the creator fund. So understanding where these white labeled areas are is really beneficial for the musician to looking forward in the next 10 years. The other topic is social audio is set to grow in scope. And, let's say Clubhouse's popularity has led to other tech and social media companies jump on the social audio bandwagon. Spotify just acquired Locker Room, while Twitter and Facebook have that artists and their teams can benefit from the marketing opportunities brought about by social audio functionalities by hosting listening parties, performance, radio shows, and more. Just kind of like what we're doing here. So, hey, you're tuned in, but if you want to find out more and you want to hear our exclusive content, go to musicindustrycity.com. When you get to musicindustrycity.com, you can sign in. You only have limited access if you're a visitor to the city, but you can become a resident for free at musicindustrycity.com. It takes 60 seconds and less to register for free. How's that? Is that a good marketing pitch? If I was an artist, say, come to my website. And you can go to my white labeled NFT shop. But that email address, it's been for years and decades that we talk about the email address. Well, people are also a little burnt down on emails. But if you're launching something with all this decentralized, you need to centralize to be able to tell your fans about all these other areas and where you are. So we always like to say, don't build your house on sand, but more importantly, don't build your house on somebody else's sand. When you're on these social platforms and you have likes and followers, you're renting those likes and followers on that particular platform. What happens if that platform goes away? Or what happens if you start using a new platform? This is what, Vine, when Vine shut down, that was a hard lesson for many of those people that said, well, I guess I got to go to YouTube, but where are my fans? I don't have any way of contacting them. So centralize your contact to decentralize your, I guess, workflow.
Well, just think about what happened with the MySpace platform and how many artists used MySpace as their website. Instead of having a website, they would use MySpace as their presence, and MySpace went away. So that's great advice for everyone listening.
All right. The next point is music is becoming even more inextricably linked to tech. Music is set to continue pushing tech industry's boundaries and vice versa. Emerging technologies such as 5G, smart speakers, and smart cars will require tech companies to partner up with artists to showcase their wares. The UK's upcoming 5G festival is a clear example of the music tech's partnership, imminent evolution. And of course. I mean, it's always, tech is always going to, it's in that wag the dog kind of thing. It's like tech always is dragging music, whereas music's trying to latch on to whatever the latest tech is. It's more about, proof of putting and just making sure that like, oh, well, we see that TikTok is now huge. Now we can license the music there. So, it's something's going to be different every year. It's going to be a new platform. So, of course, that's just more of an obvious statement. But creator tools also they talk about are set to become a multi-billion-dollar industry. This one is according to Media Research. Creator tool development is $1 billion a year market. The figure is set to double in years to come. Creator tools range from complex production software to basic music-making apps. Development companies will continue collaborating with artists and labels to create artist-branded sound packs. Since artists also becoming content creators, development companies will continue endorsing artists so that these, in turn, recommend the company's software to their followers. This goes back to what we were talking about. It's like I can do everything in the palm of my hand. And you tie that back in with our first point is, hey, give me artists can give you a stem and you can just go crazy with it. They go on about AI as a tool, not as a weapon. And that's why, I always thank my Alexa for, anytime it's like, thank you, Alexa. So when the AI revolution does come, Alexa will be like, no, he was always polite to me. He always said please and thank you. And just as a side note, Alexa, you can change the Alexa name. I think you used to just have computer and Alexa. You can now change your Alexa name to Ziggy. So you can go to your Alexa app. Yes, that is something that happened over the weekend. But talking about this, AI is set to become an even more powerful tool. It can be used by labels, bookers, and managers to respond to repeat queries so they can focus on more complex tasks. Through AI, workflows can be automated and algorithms can be analyzed without human intervention, facilitating the copious amounts of admin work that's behind every artist's success. Yes, artists look into AI. There are even like writing softwares or like a Quillbot. There's plenty of these free things. So if you're like, I need to develop my own bio, or I just need to develop my sentence, my elevator pitch, or whatever it is. If you go to these AI programs, and many of them are free, that'll give you like 500 characters or 500 words, and type in, say, here's my bio for my EPK, and I need to make this sound better. Go to Quillbot, put it in, and Quillbot will, and say fluency, and Quillbot will rewrite it for you. and make it sound, you can make it sound funnier, you can make it sound witty, you can make it sound more fluent. And there are all these little things, and it saves so much time, and it makes it sound so much better. And it's just these little things that you can help. And there's plenty of production tools, and we're seeing all this. So using AI, again, AI is still a little bit of what you ask of it and how you utilize AI as it's a learning curve as well. But I use AI for things, and I can tell you, man, it saves me a lot of time. And it's not fake, false information. It's, there's these videos like, hey, I would have picked some similar video images or video backgrounds for this text, but the AI put it in there, and based on my text, it's like it created a video for me. Well, a musician can create a video with their song, and you put the lyrics in, and it'll create a video for you, and then you can edit that as well. So now you have something that's just helping to speed up the process when you don't have a lot of time. It talks also the growing need for robust licensing frameworks, and new technologies are typically associated with music licensing issues. While the creative and innovative use of music should be encouraged, this should accompany by robust licensing frameworks. Labels and technology companies are currently developing frameworks, deals that would benefit all parties. They will need to continue working together to ensure that artists' rights are not violated vis-a-vis new technologies, and that's always the ongoing battle. That's simple enough. Yeah. I mean, we talked about the GRD for how many years, the Global Repertoire Database. I mean, PricewaterhouseCoopers, $32 million put into the GRD, and they still couldn't figure out how to get all this, build the database for all the PROs and being able to, that was almost 10 years, 10 years ago now, I guess, or somewhere around there. But, we talk about the blockchain and, the blockchain, is it going to save it? No. Is it going to help change it? But the technologies with licensing and what we have to look at for NFTs, that is something else that is going to be a legal battle. And again, anybody has some thoughts, just come on up, request to join the stage. We have just a few more. And this talks about music adjacent industries as partners, not competitors. And while we may be quick to comment that music is becoming a screensaver, however, the music industry should focus on how artists can benefit from music adjacent industries like gaming and film, instead of seeing these sectors as direct competition. And this goes back to, dare I say, Eli's going to make the face Twitch with gaming, and there's so many companies that Epidemic Sound, Monster Cat, I mean, these labels and all these other audio platforms that are allowing licensing so you don't get DMCA'd. Those are the ones that I feel are going to come out ahead in the long run. I mean, of course, the majors are always going to come out ahead, but these smaller independent offshoots, and I mean, Epidemic Sound's going to now millions of dollars of funding, but you see, I mean, this is something that they've done. And to just wrap up with the final two here is NFTs and blockchain technology is more than just a fad. Yes, that is correct. Long-term NFTs and the idea of digital collectibles are very much here to stay. They represent an incredibly promising and important new revenue stream for artists and for the music industry as a whole. And they go on to say artists and labels should look beyond the hype and start treating NFTs as any other creative endeavor, complete with an attention-grabbing design and rollout and a slick marketing strategy. This is something that's overlooked when you heard of Kings of Leon, $2.6 million, and you hear this rollout, and you hear Deadmau5's rollout, and you hear Blau's rollout. They all had a marketing plan. They also had a lot of fans that they could market to. So you do need this attention-grabbing design, rollout, and a marketing strategy. Don't think that's just overnight. Hey, I decided to put out an NFT. It's like anything else. I put out an album. Okay. Does it matter? Is anybody there? If you're in the forest, if nobody's there, nobody's buying your NFT in a forest. And finally, labels are here to stay. What they say here is, while artists are bypassing labels by going D2C and building fan communities through Patreon and Discord, new technologies such as NFTs and blockchains mean that labels can redefine their scope and find a new purpose. Labels should see these emerging technologies as an opportunity to upskill and assist artists in navigating the complex world of fintech. And that just brings us right back to the beginning where I was saying, labels, it's two economies. The labels, the traditional industry is not about an old, outdated industry. It's more about the label deal structure. That's one music industry, and the other is this collaborative and creator economy. And that's the other music industry. And just you can mix and match, but labels are involved, and labels are doing a lot to stay and get in this game, and they aren't resisting as much as they had in the past. So new generation, fresh outlook. I like it. I like all of it. I'm happy with it. And if anybody has any thoughts, let's hear them before we wrap up for today.
I'm with you, Peter. I feel like it's definitely going in the right direction, and hopefully, strangely enough, I think the pandemic has meant that we've all stopped and taken some stock and figured out what we can do differently going forward. And I think that pieces like this are just a reflection of us sort of taking that inventory and seeing how we could be better serving to not only our clients, our listeners, our customers, whatever facet of the industry we're in, but also how we can, up the value of music, both live.
Right on. All right. I think that's
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Peter. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's saying I was just going to say let's we can start wrapping up there.
Well, again, I'm just very fascinated by the creator economy. Let's face it, so many of us would tape onto cassette tape from the radio and then play our instruments along with it in our bedrooms as children. And so having the technology in our hands to create and recreate and remix and work with and alongside and possibly even make sure that artists are being paid as we use their art for our own enjoyment, I think this is all just very fascinating. So I'm really glad that we're covering this in the room. Thanks for adding that to today's broadcast, Peter. And I wanted to say to everyone in the room that as we wrap up today's Music News at Noon, coming to you from New York City, thank you so much for joining us. You can visit our website. You can stay up to date on all the current happenings in the music industry. You can join our community. You can access all kinds of other amazing resources. And of course, watch our live stream at musicindustrycity.com. And we hope that each one of you will join us here again each weekday, Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern from New York City for the Music News at Noon. My name is Eli Window, and on behalf of myself and our UK correspondent, Angela Randall, we thank you so much for being part of today's broadcast. And now I want to go over to my co-host, Peter Schwing. Peter, your final thoughts for us today.
Final thoughts. I just had a lot of final thoughts this on there, so I'm done talking for today. I am thoughted out again, but yeah, I welcome everybody to join us at musicindustrycity.com. We have a neighborhood. It's a community, and it is called the Newsroom. So there's the public square and the Newsroom, and if there's something you want to talk about, if there's a story you want to submit, there's just want to you didn't get a chance to come to the stage, or you couldn't, you just want to talk about it with your fellow residents, then jump into that. And there's so much coming out on musicindustrycity.com. There's a lot of content, but this community aspect and the neighborhoods that we are putting together, we'd love to hear from you. And it's at musicindustrycity.com, and you're automatically added to those groups once you're registered and you're signed up for free. So check it out. And with that, thank you, Angela. Thank you, Eli. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this Monday. We are starting a new format tomorrow, just so you know. Okay, we're testing out this new format. Instead of doing two separate shows, which we do the 11 a.m. Good Day World, and then we start a new room for the music news at 12 p.m. Eastern, we're going to combine them into one room. It is going to be called the Good Day Music Show. Talks, tips, music, and tech news. So you're not going to see this music news at noon. You are going to see Good Day Music Show. And we are still going to start the music news right at 12 p.m. Eastern. But you can come in early, or you can hang out, because we talk about some support for the artists, musicians. So it's more like, say, the Good Day America show. So it's like Good Day Music World. So we're going to do you come out, hang out at 11 a.m. We do more of the shout yourself in like we did in the morning show. And then we'll pick a topic that is geared more towards artists, lifestyle, and things like that. And then right at 12 o'clock, we're back into the music news. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and you can even check it out earlier. So it's going to be called the Good Day Music Show. Make sure you stay on the lookout for that. We're not changing the content. We're just changing the room name and the format. So thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.
It's great to see you, everybody. I hope you have a great day today. See you again soon.